Alright, we're here. 11 months later, the second part of the beginner's guide is finally here. I'm sorry it took so long. I've just had other stuff to do. But we're here, and now we're going in depth on how characters work, how events work, how to complete them, and almost guarantee you can start clearing events right now. That is, assuming you're seeing this during a grindable, because if you're seeing this and you're trying to do this during an energy event, it's not going to be fun for you. So first, let's take a look at this handy little resource that you've actually had access to for months. I'm sorry, I haven't shown it to you. This is the beginner's spreadsheet made by my mods and I haven't really had much part in it, but I'm endorsing it because it's good. It has almost a complete breakdown of the entire game, how to get started, ultimate filters that get updated, skills filters that get updated, what bonuses do, just anything you can think of is probably in here, including a bunch of links to some of my videos that might be useful. We'll update it as time goes on because, obviously it's not perfect yet. It's only been out for like 3 months, but hey, better late than never, I guess. I'm not gonna make you read this entire spreadsheet because that'd just be boring. Instead, I guess this whole series can sort of be like guided along with the spreadsheet. So in this video, we'll go over the Gacha tab, the Events tab, the Bonuses tab, kind of, because there's multiple bonuses mentioned in there, and the Farming tab. So let's get started with the Gacha aspect, which is a universal part of this game, no matter what event you're playing. Part 1, the Gacha/Crankakai. You're playing a Gacha game. The Crank is this game's version of the summoning system. If you play Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, you know their summoning system uses Dragon Stones. This game's summoning system has a couple different aspects. You have the Y Money Crank, which is very much so useless because it has not been updated for literal years. Like, seriously. The main reason you do this is after maxing all of the characters, it can be a decent source of experience, considering Y Money is so easy to get. However, really, you shouldn't even bother with it as a new player unless you have maxed out Y Money like I have. Instead, what you'll usually be dealing with is Y Points. These are only available during the event section, which is this little button right here. The picture of it obviously will change depending on the event, but the rules still apply. There are many different external resources such as translation documents, websites. There's tons of things for different languages. I always have at least 2 different ones for English players. One of them is the docs by Mao. The other one is the docs that 2 of my mods make in the Discord server. Whichever one fits your fancy. Honestly, you can even use them both because you get different perspectives on things. Pretty cool. No matter what the resource is, it'll tell you what new characters get, how to get them, what they do, and any sort of unlockable skills they might have, because some characters require their second skills to be unlocked. I'm not really going to go into depth of what makes a character good or not. That can be its whole own video, but I've already kind of made videos like that. But if you want to see something like that, let me know, because this is a beginner guide. Any sort of questions you have, I'm supposed to be answering. That's the whole purpose of this. You'll use these new characters that you get from the Crankakai in order to assist you in beating the event to hopefully get the Throne Yokai. This Throne Yokai is designed to basically just be the penultimate prize of the event. The main reason is because this Throne character has a Y point bonus, increasing your Y point gain throughout the event. So obviously, you want them as soon as you can get them. I can't really go into much detail about which characters you're gonna want unless we start talking about the actual events and their types, so let's get into that. Event types and layouts. There are 3 main event types, but they each have some sub-variations that allow for a little bit of flavor. The 3 main types are grindable events, energy-based events, and Gates of Whimsy, which is like a hybrid of grindables and energies. Grindables include Budokais and Pseudokais. Budokai is the Japanese term for a tournament, and we get the term Pseudokai because it takes some aspects of the Budokai, but changes it a little bit. We actually haven't even had a Budokai in about a whole year. We might just never get one again, and it might just be Pseudokais. These event types are always amazing because of how easy it is to obtain Y points. In these events, only these events, by clearing one of the map stages, you earn Y points. Within like the first 8 stages, you'll earn a certain amount of Y points, and then every stage after that, you'll earn 1 more Y point. And then the Throne and Seal stages earn a little bit more, but because they take longer to clear, it's not as valuable. And also, there's no way to increase the amount of Y points you get per battle, aside from like Y point bonuses. You don't get more Y points per score, you just get a flat 8 Y points without bonuses. So basically, you want to clear stages as fast as you can in order to maximize the amount of Y points you're making. However, Y points is not the only thing this event has. You have these treasure seals. Basically, you have 8 different pieces of treasure. I keep forgetting that they're keys because they actually recently updated it, so that way they don't have to keep putting a bunch of weird assets in that just get used once and never used again. So it's just a universal asset. These keys unlock a treasure box, and this treasure box has things like old yokai, books, sometimes they even have profile pictures depending on the event, which I think is pretty cool. In order to unlock these treasures, you need one of each type of key. Now, you can actually get duplicates of keys, so it's not as easy as it sounds, but it's not really that hard until you start getting to the later levels, in which case you'll probably have to start stealing from other players. In order to steal, you need a Yokidori ticket. Yokidori tickets, you usually get about 7 to 8 depending on the event, usually from the Y Point shop that just exists. You get some from missions, some from login stamps, maybe you get some during some special campaigns. This is also the case for every event, but any sort of like specific event thing, like for example the Yokidori tickets, they will go away once the event ends, so you can't like stockpile Yokidori tickets from previous events. You can't stockpile energy drinks when we get to those. So don't even bother trying it. It doesn't work. So now let's talk about the stealing aspect. When you actually start the event, you will be given the choice between the stealing mode, the left button, which is red and has more Y points on it, and the non-stealing mode, which is the green button, but has less Y points. Now you might think that non-stealing mode is just better since your own treasures can't be stolen by other players. However, because you make less Y points, it's not really worth it. And plus, nobody's gonna take your stuff in the earlier rounds, or at least they're not gonna take your stuff and it have long-lasting effects on you. Now once you get to like treasure seal maybe 6 or 7, then it'll start having an effect, and that's when you'll want to start stealing. But you should just always be in stealing mode because more Y points, which means characters. When you go to steal your treasure and spend your Yokidori ticket, depending on the color that you're trying to get, if you have, for example, you want a light blue key. If you bring Slippery Tribe characters, they have a chance to activate a bonus to increase your stealing score. The whole point of the mode is you need to get a higher stealing score than your opponent to win. Basically, the whole mode is going to be comparing your team to your enemy's team. Now, tribe advantage actually has an effect. So for example, if you have a slippery team and your opponent has some charming and brave yokai, your slippery characters will give you more points against the charming characters, but you will lose points against brave characters. The only way the opponent can increase their own score is by getting bonuses to proc on their own. You can't control when you're getting stolen from, it just kind of happens in the background. So the team that the opponent will see when they try to steal, or that you see when you steal from other players, is the one they have currently active. And you can only see the main center yokai that they have in their slot. So if you see somebody that has a charming center, the rest of their team could be brave and it could be a trap. It really just depends. However, you can sort of limit the RNG by bringing characters with the tribe and then bringing specific stealing bonus characters. This stealing bonus is a separate activation from the tribe bonus. So for example, this current event has Dismeralda, who is Eerie. So if you're stealing an Eerie piece and using her Eerie bonus can proc, and then her stealing bonus can also proc, giving 2 bonuses for 1 character. Name of the game is get Y points, get new characters, get the throne, get the keys, get the rewards, and then stockpile Y points for the next event. That's why everybody always loves Sudokais, because Y points, very easy. You just get characters, you get Y points. Next up, we have the energy-based events. These include Ohajikis, which have their own variations in the slingshot, where you pull back such like Angry Birds, or Flick, where you have to actually move your finger and it's very inconsistent. There's also Golf and Nyantos. They're basically all the same thing, they just have different ways of dealing damage to the enemies. Instead of beating stages to get Y points, after you beat a stage, you can spawn a normal. This is the mini game, whether it be Ohajiki, Golf, or Nyantos. This normal will remain for an hour, waiting for you to finish it off. Playing it will cost either 10 or 50 of the energy you can see here. Each energy takes 5 minutes to recharge, and you can have a max of 50 charge by itself. You can have more than 50, but if you have more than 50, you cannot recharge anything. You can either spend 10 energy or 50 energy, although 50 energy runs will have the effect of 6 10 energy runs at once. So if you need to do 50 energies, you'll get basically an extra one for free. Once you spend your energy, the minigame will activate. If you're new to the event, I would really recommend doing Whisper's tutorial because it uses pictures and movements instead of just words. So it's pretty easy to understand, and you can even just look at people's videos and then you'll see, okay, yeah, it's actually not that hard. The gist of it is always the same though, no matter what the event is. You gotta hit the enemy, collect bubbles, or in Nyanto's case, get as many Nyantos into the bottle as you can. and then deal as much damage as you can. Once you either run out of yokai to use, finish the enemy, or in Nyanto's case, the timer runs out, you will be given Y points based on how much damage you did, and if you actually defeat the enemy, you'll be given some little extra rewards too. This can even include energy refill items, more on that later. If you don't manage to beat the normal before the timer expires, it'll run away, and then once you spawn it in again, it'll have regained some HP. Beating Normals has a chance to spawn the super boss. Unlike normal Ohajikis, these bosses only last for 30 minutes, and they have much more HP. Also, if you fail to beat the super, once you respawn them again, they will have fully recovered their HP, so you can't get them lower and then try again to finish it off later. You have to do it all within that 30 minutes. This is basically when you want to use your 50 energy runs. Now, usually to beat these events, you need to beat at least Super 10. I'll go into more detail why it's specifically Super 10, however these supers actually can continue beyond 10. Depending on if it is a collaboration or not, it can go anywhere from level 12 up to level 15, although the HP of the super will remain the same as 10, so basically you just gotta clear 10 like 6 more times. Now you might be thinking, I can't do that much damage in my runs, I don't do 1.45 million in one run. Well, thankfully, you have some solutions to refill your own energy. These are called energy drinks. The common drinks will give you 50 energy when you use them, and can be quote-unquote farmed by clearing normals, although it is a very low chance. You're always given around like 8, I want to say, if you do missions, buy them from the Y Point shop, get them from login stamps, and then some campaign stuff. Although if you do run out, you can spend $1 for a normal drink, and if you, for example, are trying to beat Super 10 and you don't want to do a $1 payment 5 times, you can do a $5 payment to get 260 energy. It's actually not even $5, it's like $4.64. If you don't want to spend money though, you can get the help of others, mainly people on your friends list. You have to add them first. They can spend their own energy to either hit your normals or supers, but usually you want them to hit your supers because that's the harder one. You're also encouraged to do this on your own because you get friend points. These friend points are used in their own little section, and it can buy things like soul secrets, exports, even upgrades to your own energy runs, such as increasing your damage. One of them is like increasing speed. I never really noticed it, but I just get it anyways because it's free. And then increasing the amount of Y points you get. Depending on the normal level you've cleared, in the Y point shop, you'll be able to buy things depending on what level you are, up to maximum of 40, even if the normals go higher. For supers though, you don't actually have to buy them, and they're instead just free once you beat the level. Now, let's talk about how to actually get help. Many places offer a help service, usually being Discord, including my own Discord server. Although we have requirements, don't expect to be a new player and expect to be beating these day one without any sort of new yokai. Usually, the requirements are, you have to actually be able to beat the throne stage, usually along with all the other seals, if you were to actually have your supers done. So basically just get the event characters, it's not that hard. You can find out more information by joining the Discord, link in the description. Finally, we have Gates of Whimsy. It's a sort of hybrid type, like I said. Instead of the mini game like Ohajiki's, Nyanto's, if I ever say Ohajiki specifically, I do just mean energy events. We just say Ohajiki as just a blanket statement. Instead of the mini game appearing, this gate will open, and when you open it up, you will be taken to the normal room. And inside of Gates of Whimsies, your HP is consistent. You'll see it at the top here. You'll be at 100% when you first start out, and if you take, I don't know, 10% damage, when you go into the next stage, you'll only have 90% of your HP. So you really want to restrict getting hit as much as you can because it's gonna hurt. The red stage and the final stage of the normal rooms is the boss. Once you beat the boss of the normal room, you have a chance to open another Gate of Whimsy, which can take you to either a boss room specifically, a treasure room, or a super room. Each room, aside from treasure rooms, can level up. Normals go up to a level 35, supers can go up to level 15, although like Ohajiki's you only need to beat 10, and then treasure rooms go up to treasure room 7. The boss room is one stage, but gets more and more HP with each level. Like I said, you need to only beat Super 10 to get throne bonuses. If you want extra rewards, you can go up to Super 15. Unlike Ohajiki, the HP will keep scaling until the maximum room level, even beyond 10. Super 15 has a lot more HP than Super 10. Each room also negates its own little thing. For example, normal Ohajiki rooms negate the effects of healing from ultimates, however healing from skills is unaffected. Boss rooms disable attack boosters, although every boss in anything always disables attack boosters, which is why they never get used. I get comments like that sometimes, that's why, because they're literally just not allowed. So it's not really that much of a big deal, because even the boss of the normal gate doesn't let you do attack boosters once you get to higher levels. Treasure rooms are sort of like normal rooms, but they give you a little more Y points, and they're harder than the minion stages of the normal room, but they don't have a boss. The only part that's somewhat quote-unquote difficult is the final stage of room 7, and that's only just because he's kind of tanky and can take like 2 ultimates to finish off instead of just 1. Both super and treasure rooms make it more difficult to enter fever time, although really you don't need to be entering fever time. Speaking of super treasure rooms, it is a 1-stage, 1-level room that rarely spawns. It is very, very easy and gives you 500 Y points per clear. Once you beat a stage for the first time, you will get an additional amount of Y points within the gates. This is on top of the normal Y points you get, so it is very, very easy to get some Y points really quickly at the start of a Gate of Whimsy, but then it kind of sucks to actually grind it because you got these high level supers and it's very difficult. Also, like energy events, you can purchase things in the Y point shop based on how many normals you've beaten, and once you beat supers, you get free rewards. Although there's no sort of thing to upgrade with friend points because those don't exist. Like energy events, you can either spend money or get help from your friends, although helping is a little bit different. Instead of energy drinks, you get medicine. A normal medicine will give you 100% HP no matter what HP you're at. So if you're at 60% HP, use a medicine, you're at 160% HP. You can even use this at 99% to go to 199% HP. There's also the paid exclusive medicine, which is these medicines are the same price as Ohajiki drinks, so about $5 for 600% HP. And if you are at 99% HP and use the 600% HP medicine, you can get to 699% HP. Sounds ridiculous, but I'm telling you, the super gates just have that much HP, where this is actually kind of a concern. Now, friends can't directly hurt your bosses like they can with Ohajikis. Instead, they can donate 1% of their HP to give you 10% of yours. If you clear the room when they send HP, they will be given a small reward, which usually is just a worthless small X-Borb. Alright, now that we've gotten through the event-specific things, let's talk about throne rooms, which are universal. After you beat the 45th numbered stage of the event, the 4th map will open, which leads to the throne room. This room has 4 to 6 mini stages, and then the big giant throne stage, which is very obvious to see. These little mini stages are known as seal stages and serve the entire purpose to seal attributes from the throne. The attributes that you can seal range from reducing the damage of their normal attacks, reducing the damage that they deal with counterattacks, reducing their total HP, and reducing the spawn rate of damage balls. What you have to do in order to seal away these things depends on each event type, although universally, the seal stages have missions that you have to clear to seal parts of the stage. The missions just range from either just beating the stage or beating the stage within like 60 seconds. Once you clear a certain number of missions up to clearing all of them, you will activate some of the throne's seals. And now, each event type has their own specific seals you have to do, so let's go through that now. Grindable events require a certain treasure level to be obtained, usually treasure 6, with treasure seal 3 usually reducing damage balls. Energy and gates events require you to beat respective supers 9 and 10 for something, and then to reduce damage balls, you beat normal 40 for energy events and normal gate 20 for Gates of Whimsies. Now, these seal stages and even the fully sealed throne stage are pretty difficult, which is why these new characters in the Crankakai are here to help make things so much easier. Like, literally, these stages become a joke. Part 4, beating the events and using the bonus characters. Each event character has their own specific bonus to do something, usually being a bonus against the seal stage, and usually the highest ranked character gets a bonus against the throne stage specifically. On top of this, they also get specific event type bonuses. Any translation source you use will tell you what characters do, and even how much of a bonus they actually give. For example, there are small bonuses, medium bonuses, and large bonuses. You're intended to use these characters to make the seal stages super easy, and then use the throne bonus to get the new throne character in order to get your Y point bonus. The event-specific bonus for grindables is the stealing bonus. This is usually just relegated to the paid pack unit and sometimes rerun characters. The bonuses for energy events are the normal bonuses and the super bonuses. Obviously, some characters are only good against the normals, and others are only good against the supers. Throughout the event, usually on the super bonus character's specific rate up, they will be given a temporary extra bonus where the bonus is more powerful. So if you, for example, are trying to beat your supers, it is very easy to just win in like 3 energy runs against Super 10. Gates are similar to energy events, just replace the mini games with the gates and add a treasure room bonus if the event even has one. Also, there's never a super treasure room gate. That's because the super treasure room is very easy. About halfway through the event, unless it's a collab with some rare exceptions, there will be a mid-event character. The bonus this character has can vary, but it can go anywhere from a super bonus to also being a throne bonus. Characters have multiple bonuses, usually being either a bonus against the seal stage, but also being a super bonus in the case of energy events. Make sure to check whatever resource you use to get information for translations, just to know which characters you should be looking out for. But if you know which characters you should be looking out for, how should you even get them? The first banner of the event, or the day 1 banner, will automatically level up the yokai to level 50 and get their soul ultimate to level 3. While this is nice, these banners have pretty bad rates, so you'll really only see people like me use them because we only need 1 or 2 characters, unlike a new player, such as yourself, who's probably going to need everybody. Each character also gets their own specific rate up, and they're sometimes even shared with another character. If you specifically need that character and have plenty of points, it could be a good time to get them, although you can easily spend something like 70k and not get them. It has happened to me in the past. After the mid-event character is introduced, sometimes a rerun banner of old characters will come out. You really shouldn't be cranking on these unless you have a stockpile of Y points and have already beaten the event. The discount banner sometimes can appear after this rerun banner, and the banner costs 30% less Y points than normal. This can be nice depending on what sort of situation you're in, but usually you'll want to save for the next banner, which is the stamps banner. This is just basically the best banner in the game. The way stamps work is you have a set rotation of 5 cranks. The first crank guarantees something like a triple S. Usually the third crank guarantees a Z rank character or above, and then the last 2 cranks looks like it just says guarantees a double Z or above. However, the way that the rates are coded, you have the same chance to get a double Z rank as you do get a UZ plus in that ZZ plus guarantee crank. So essentially, every 5 multis on the stamps banner, you are guaranteed at least 2 of the new event characters. Not specifically new to you, just new to the game. The only downside of this banner is that you need at least 1800 Y points to even get the effects of it. And since it's toward the end of the event, you have very little time to get the LBs or extra stats of the throne character, and you don't have the Y point bonus for very long, so you can't make up as many Y points as you'd like. The reason I specifically chose this time to get the video out is because during this event, Idol Royale 3, the character Kinaku Himena, I think I'm pronouncing that right, has these skills pre-fill and drop big, which are the 2 best skills when it comes to grinding. This event is also a Sudokai, and Sudokais are the best events for grinding Y points due to how easy and mindless it is. No need to be paying attention. The only problem is that you need to be constantly grinding in order to make as many Y points as you can, and let's be real, no one has time for that. Thankfully, at least for my Android users and PC havers, there is an alternative, a slightly controversial one in some communities. That being auto-clickers. I'm not going to go into detail here, but if you're interested, I have a link to my own auto-clicker guide down in the description where we use the Smart Auto-Clicker app. Side note, you cannot be banned from the game if you use an auto-clicker, but you might get banned from Discord servers, but not mine though. I heavily endorse auto-clickers and fully support it. Now, if you are an iPhone watcher and you don't have a PC, sorry, you cannot auto. Literally just is not possible. The reason that auto-clicking and just grinding in general is so valuable is because let's say you get 8 Y points per clear. The actual fastest you can usually clear a stage is around 30 seconds. That's not 30 seconds of playing the puzzle part of the game. That is 30 seconds from entering the stage to getting back to the map. In other words, every 30 seconds, you are making 8 Y points. 8 times 2 is 16 Y points per minute. Doesn't really sound that good until you realize there are 60 minutes an hour, which is 960 Y points an hour. Then if you were to go for, 12 hours straight, that is 11,520 Y points. Now the reason that auto clickers are so valuable is because, you're not going to be going for 11 hours straight. But if you can just have your computer going all day, you can get 11,000 Y points per every 12 hours. Multiply that by 2, you get 23,000 Y points a day. Multiply that by, I don't know, 13 for how many days the event is, and that is about 300,000 Y points from the event if you don't crank anything. That's not even to mention characters like Extreme Noko, who is a permanent 5 extra Y points, or even the normal Y point bonus. So usually I'm making about 16 Y points per clear, literally what you make in a minute. Multiply that by 2, 32 Y points. Multiply that by 60, 1,920 Y points an hour. Multiply that by 24 for every day, 46,000 Y points a day. Multiply that by 13, 600,000 Y points if I don't do any sort of cranking. Doing 13 instead of 14 because obviously you have to play the event the first time. So like I said, getting your Y point bonus is insanely valuable because like I just showed, you can double your Y point gain, and then you can stockpile your Y points in order to have more Y points for the non-grindables. Make sure you get your Y points up for the stamp banner so that way you can get the characters, because, you know, you kind of want them. While we're here, I guess we might as well talk about part 6, the Nyanbo coin. Every event has the notebook button up in the top left corner, and this just gives you some tasks where you can get the Nyanbo coin, which has some of the best yokai in the entire game. Most translation resources tell you how to get these per event, but usually it just boils down to beat stage 45, beat the 3rd hidden stage, beat normal 20 for energy and gate-based events, and then play score attack. And then the coin will be sent to your inbox as long as you actually, you know, get the reward screen. Before we end off, I guess I can talk about beating seal stages and what sort of gimmicks they have. Seal stages are sort of more unique stages. They can do things such as shake your board, drain your ultimate gauge, drain your fever gauge, and do things called in spirits. You know, it only took multiple years, but we finally got the in spirit mechanic in the game. To purify yourself, usually you have to tap these little orbs that pop up, or you have to rub the screen to get rid of some smoke. There are characters with specific skills who can help you reduce this, but I don't know why they didn't just attach it to their actual bonus, because then these characters become literally useless once the event ends. The throne stage usually doesn't have any sort of gimmicks, and it's just a really difficult fight. So these bonus characters, for example, if you're going against a stage that has ultimate draining, your bonus character will just negate this ultimate draining, which is very, very nice to have and is another reason you want the characters. So again, get your bonus characters, get some help if you need ohajikis, or maybe even just spend some money. Make sure that you're not being a little bum about it, and make sure you can actually beat your throne stage if you're asking for help. And make sure to help others too, because you get rewarded, they get rewarded, everybody is happy. And there we go. I really think that that's just kind of all I need to talk about right now. I know that this video is nowhere near as long as the other one, but I want it to be a little more precise, concise. I'm not playing the game for a whole 30 minutes or whatever. And it's not that hard. There's not that much to talk about. It's a little complicated when you first look at it, but once you start doing it a couple of times playing the event, it's really not that bad. It's very easy to start clearing, at the very least, grindables if you know what to do with your Y points, although I would really recommend stay clear of the energy events, just because you might not be able to beat it without help, and it's very unlikely you'll get help as a very new player. Just play it, get your Nyanbo coin, and then get back to gaming once your actual, you know, good grindables come back. I know it might be hard if that non-grindable is something really exciting, especially if it's a collab you love. Make sure you stockpile your Y points during grindables, so that way, if it is something hype, you can save for the stamps banner to almost guarantee you get something that'll, you know, give you a little piece of what you love in this game. I know that normally I just focus on like meta things when I play the game, when I make videos, but at the end of the day, you should be playing this game for fun. There are so many people who are just like, I hate this game is such a pain. Even I say that sometimes, but if you don't enjoy this game, you don't have to play it. The whole purpose of my videos is to make sure that you don't give up on this game because, you know, you don't know what to do. And also just for some general entertainment, because, you know, I want to be funny. Not really, but whatever. If you really just take advantage of what you're given, being Discord help, getting some help in just figuring out how the game works, and autoing, you know, very useful. It's very easy to start getting ahead in this game. If you have any specific questions about the game, join my Discord. We have a whole section for it, and there are plenty of people who will be able to answer your questions. And if you really want my opinion on something, feel free to DM me. I'll respond to you whenever I can, and I don't mind talking to you, as long as you're just nice to me and don't come off as snarky or expect something from me. Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to carry you. I don't know what to tell you. Alright, with that, get back to grinding. Every minute you're not spending might be the entire difference of you not getting that UZ+. So go on, get it. Although, before you leave, I hope you enjoyed.